All right. So today on NewbieVeT, got a special guest. We got my boy, Northside Will.
Yes,
What's going on, King?
What's going on with you, boss?
Can't call it, man. I'm blessed, man. I can't call it, man. So you born in Augusta, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you was raised in North Augusta.
Right.
So, okay, let's go into that. So let's get into the very beginning of that. How was it growing up in North Augusta for you?
I mean, it was simple, you know what I'm saying? You talk the 80s, 90s, life back then, you didn't really have no cares. It was all about just playing with your friends and hanging out and just,
right.
chilling, man.
Lifestyle,
yeah, it was way simpler than now, you know what I'm saying? It was way simpler, and I feel like, people, you didn't appreciate those times until the times you living in now, and you looking back like, man, I give anything to go back.
What were some of the simple things that you remember, like, far as back then that, people kind of took advantage of that it's not appreciative no more now?
I mean, how inexpensive life was. That was one thing for sure. Like, gas prices in comparison to now.
Gas prices are real low.
Yeah, it was less than $1.
Low. They were less than $1.
Yeah, it was less than $1.
I remember it being like 65 cents one time, 75 cents one time, 89 cents.
I mean, the price of groceries is another thing that's like skyrocket right now. But back then, you can go to the grocery store, $50 to get you go a long way.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And just everything, every like luxury that you have in life now, you know what I'm saying, the cost of it back then, you didn't appreciate it, because even back then they looked at it as, you didn't make as much money as you probably make now. But I think the rate of increase with what people make now and the cost of things is still a disparity between the two, because stuff still costs way more than what you're making now, even though you make more than what you were making back then.
Right.
Like, so it's just, from a financial perspective, it's a lot of that people didn't appreciate, that now they probably looking back on and probably would have done things a little bit differently.
Yeah. That's a brief history moment. But yeah, it's crazy how time just changed from back then to now. Cause even if you go back to like even with food stamps, you remember the coupons,
the whole little book. You go in there and tear that mug out.
The whole book out, man. So now it's went from that to the card. So it's like, yeah, man. So, so when did music get involved? Far as like, when did you get into music? How old were you?
Honestly, I was adult. Like, when I got into it, like, it was around me growing up. You know what I'm saying? I had a lot of friends that did music, like, in my childhood. Of course, I was in the choir at church. I don't tell a lot of people that stuff, but I was in the choir at church. And
you say you was in the choir?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and so, from that aspect, it was in me young. But doing it myself, I was fascinated by watching other people that I knew do music, and just, I guess over time it kind of appealed to me, like, why not try this? Let me give this a shot and see, what I can do with it.
Right.
And so I was probably like 20, 21 when I kind of first got into it. I was in the military, and same thing. I had people that was in the military with me that was doing it, and then they looked at me one day and was like, "Yo, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? You should write a verse for this. Like, we're gonna do 3 verses. Like, he got a verse. Like, why don't you write a verse?" And I'm like, bro, what to talk about? Like,
right.
They're like, bro, whatever come off your first thing to come to mind. So, I got there, I wrote the joint, did it. And then I guess it was like, fell in love when I heard myself on a beat for the first time. And It was just like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So with that, it just kind of developed into that. I started producing, because, me and my homeboy, we was talking. It was just like, because the homie that was making the beats, like, was like, man, look, you know what I'm saying, I'm the only one making beats, and we trying to do all these songs. Like, I can't be the only one making beats. And so I was like, all right, well, teach me how you do it. And, you know what I'm saying, I'll start trying to get good at making beats.
Right.
And so did that and got actually pretty good. You know what I'm saying? I was more on the sample side of the house. So I like to take samples and flip them and create beats and stuff. But it was hard finding a balance with rapping and making beats, production. And it was like, I had to pick a side, honestly, to focus on. And so I chose the rap. The rap side. And so it was more of a hobby for the longest, and I took it serious in like 2020. That's when I was like, I'm gonna really give it a hard run and see what I can do and how far I can take it. Because conversation with friends were like, you don't want to die with that regret that you never really tried it. Like, you just kept it as a hobby. Like, see what you can do, because you never know unless you try.
Right.
And so I was just like, all right, bet. And so 2020, I dropped a couple singles, dropped the album. And just, it's been full speed ahead since then.
Okay. So the with the production part, so you said as far as with did you grow up like listening to different like old school different types of music like growing up? Oh yeah. So you already had the ear for the sound and stuff.
Yeah. Well, and I wouldn't even say more so the sound. It's like the feeling.
The feeling of the vibe.
The feeling that you get from the music. Right. I think that's what really caught my ear because it's like you think about that feeling and it takes you back to a specific memory or a time or something in your life. Whereas just the sound, you hear sound every day. Right. But with that feeling that you get from it is what made the difference. But yeah, my parents, they were big oldies heads. And so I see you got like all the vinyls up here and I'm looking around and I'm like, man, this is what I grew up on. Like this is the music that I listened to growing up. Even now, like, you know what I'm saying, even with the kids and stuff like that, like our kids know like we listening to oldies. We listen to more newer music, but more so we jamming out to oldies, our friends when they come through.
Majority of the newer songs are resamples anyway of old school joints. So
yeah, but I mean even some of the old school stuff was a resamples of
old school joints. Yeah. The first hip hop record was a sample of a disco joint. So it's like, music always been a sample based, hip hop anyway, of course, been a sample based thing, far as, besides blues singers, they played live, they play their stuff, most church, people play their stuff. But when it came to hip hop, it was mostly drum pads and, sampling and stuff like that. So, how long it took you to get into the production side as far as like learning the beats, how to chop it up? How long it took you?
I probably I would never play like an original, like a first song I ever produced. I would never play that. It took years, man. It did. It took years because you had to figure out what all that stuff was. So I'm looking like, what is a whole? What is the tempo? What is this?
And then you was doing the complicated one. You started off, you said you was sampling. Mm-hmm. That was like, sampling is like one of the highest ones as far as beat production wise, because it's time and
you gotta know your time
and stuff like that.
And then matching that to a tempo to get your drum patterns and your underlay stuff in sync with it. Cause that was probably the hardest part. It's like listening to an old song and finding a part of it that's like, I like that. I like the way that loops.
That pop,
Pop that in there and then you spread that out. And then you going in there, you trying to get your drums and they not syncing up because the tempo is off and you trying to change the tempo, but it warps the sample. And you got to pull the sample back out, find the tempo that you want to go with, then drop it back in there, change the tempo and get it. Like, it took years. It took years. Like, I think that was all. Like, it was easier to rap than it was to sit there and figure that out for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? Try to make something out of that, and then, so I was just like,
But the beauty of it, once you get done with it, you were like, man, that's like I created that. Like that's it's no other feeling than that.
And another, it was like weird because I make beats, but I never rapped on my own beats.
Why was that?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. But like I got homies. They ask me all the time. They'll be like. They come over and I'll be like, yo, I made these beats. You know what I'm saying? We'll be listening to them and they're sitting there looking at me like, bro, you ain't did nothing with this shit? Like, nah. Bro, you tripping, bro. Let me get that. Bro, I'm like, I don't care. Okay, here.
I know exactly how you feel, bro. It's like when, beats became easy to you now where you can make a beat easy, right?
Well, yeah, I ain't made a beat.
Like but I'm talking about, but if you could put your mind into it, get back in that zone. Yeah. So it's like when you get to a point where you done worked on something so long, or it's like sometimes you just want to hear other people put magic on something you create. Cause it's like, okay, I done did all the beat work. Let me see what y'all do with it.
And I think that's the producer side.
Yeah, the producer side.
Like I created this for somebody else to, take it to the next level. Like it wasn't intended when I made it for me.
Yeah, because you did at that time you didn't feel it might be a dope beat that you were like, oh, that shit hard, but it just didn't hit you enough where you wanted to rip on it, but you like it could be a gem for someone else. Just like a songwriter. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Songwriters.
Like, I like these lyrics, but it wouldn't sound good coming out of me, so I'm gonna give it to you and you can deliver it better. Yeah,
big fact. And then actually songwriters, producers, those are the ones make the bread and butter. Like, you know what I'm saying? The R. Kellys, the Neos, the ones that go, the writers and stuff like those will make that bread and butter. So, man, so what are some of the projects that you release and some of the music that you're working on now?
Jeez. I was looking the other day. I didn't realize I had as much music out as I got. Like, it's crazy. Within these 2 years, just like, I swear the time flies. So I started out with a couple singles. I did a song called Code. I did a song called, what was it? Friday, which ultimately wound up on my first studio album, which was High Fashion. I dropped that in May of 2020. And then from there, you know what I'm saying, just as I travel, the inspiration hits when I get back, and I do a lot of like my best songwriting after something, like a fresh new experience, and I talk about it. So after that, I dropped 3 EPs called Red Seats, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3. And after that, I jumped right back in and did a follow-on album called Higher Fashion. We dropped that 2021, like April 2021. And then from there, it's just been a lot of like singles I've been releasing. So in all, I probably got like 7 like projects out.
7 projects. Okay, yeah. Okay.
And then singles.
Which one? I know all of them your babies, but which one was your favorite one? Like your favorite project that you dropped that you felt like it should have had way more recognition on it than it should have got? Which album?
My first album.
Your first album?
Yeah. High Fashion.
Yeah.
Like it was my baby because of the fact that it was the first album that I ever put out on DSPs, and like I learned for the first time how much work goes into really making an album, from building relationships with producers to networking and working with engineers, building those relationships up, the process of recording, mixing, mastering, getting it, professionally engineered. Just like I was in a lot of different places that I'd never been in as far as that process goes. So I learned a lot of stuff, and when I released it, and I was laying there with my old lady, and like midnight hit when I was releasing it, and I freaking like, she's over there like, what are you doing? And I'm sitting there on the phone like posting on social media like, yo, it's out now, it's available, yada yada yada, like go check that out, run the numbers up, do what you do, da da da, the links in my bio, all that wonderful stuff. And just like after I did that, I kind of laid there, and I felt like the fatigue of all the work that I put into it, but at the same time it was a sense of accomplishment that I felt. And it just, that project meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to me because I was really, for the first time, putting out my story, like talking about the Northside, North Augusta, and just like the things that I remember growing up and just the journey.
Right.
And it was like the start point of my career, I would say, professionally, that album. So that's why I would say that meant the most to me.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Okay. Cool. So, I heard, going back to what you said a few paces back, you were saying that you was in the military. Mm-hmm. So you went to the, how long were you in the military for?
Oh, 12 years.
12 years?
12 long years.
Oh, man.
Long years.
Travel the world, though?
Yeah, not voluntarily. Not voluntarily, but yeah, I did, man. I've seen a lot of different countries, man. I've been to Europe, Germany, you know what I'm saying? I've been to Iraq, Afghanistan. I've been to freaking Kuwait. I've been to Ireland. I've been to Romania. Like, I've been a lot of different places.
So you done seen all different types of lifestyles, cultures and stuff like that. So that kind of broaden your mind to, there's a whole bigger world out there than where we from. Facts.
So it definitely gives you a different, like, a worldview on things.
Right. So you was on y'all was mostly like on plane, boats?
Oh no, we was on ground.
Ground, most of the ground stuff, tanks and stuff.
Not so much tanks, more Humvees. I was in a light infantry unit, so we didn't have the heavy armory stuff. So.
Yeah. So you was still doing music during that time too?
Yeah. That's honestly, I laugh when everybody was talking about memes. Like, music is my savior. Like, it's what saved you.
Yeah.
Because in some of your darkest times, you know what I'm saying, you had that thing that you go to kind of bring you back down to earth, or just keep you kind of sane.
Keep you sane, right?
Yeah, music was definitely it.
Yeah.
So that's what I think that's another reason why I kind of jumped into it, because it was something to take your mind off of everything that was going on around you.
Yeah, because a lot of people do lose a lot of their psyche being in the army. Jeez. Especially being that long you being there. I've seen people lose their mind in 4 years. Mm-hmm. Just one term and that's it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, for you coming out, mind in good state, you know, that's perfect. That's good, bro.
That's a blessing, bro.
It's a blessing, bro.
That's a blessing,
It's a
bro.
blessing. A lot of people come out worse.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So, but what have you, you know, what have you learned as far as just what have that taught you being in there for 12 years, as far as like, you know, about
I'm a very, it's made me a very like time sensitive person. Like you really, you value time a little bit different.
Right.
Because, you know, at any given, you realize that tomorrow's not promised. And so you take more pride in your time and the things that you're doing in it, and try not to waste it. And you just, you know, I look at time just differently. That's one of the main things I learned. Structure, like definitely structure, like organization.
Oh yeah.
Stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's a lot of that, but the stuff that most people say, "Oh yeah, you go in the military, you know, this is what it's going to teach you." Like,
But it's crazy because I feel like the military shouldn't be the only place to teach you about being organized. Shouldn't teach you about being on time. You know, like I feel like, you know, it should start from home. Like your parents should tell you, you know, it starts with keeping your room clean, keeping the house clean, just, you know, doing the chore life and stuff like that, and then it should goes from that to that. You know, but I just be hearing a lot of people be like, you learn, you know, because, you know, the Army, what they put it, you know, they put their will on you, you know, teach you the Army way.
Right.
Teach you the Army way. So, because I've been hearing stories about what time you used to get up in the morning.
God, I don't even know, man. The sun wasn't up, that's all I say. It would be days, some days it was like, man, 6 o'clock was a good morning. You know, you felt like you accomplished.
You done got enough rest then.
Yeah. Like, now most mornings you up like 5, getting up, straightening your bunk and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? Brush your teeth and everything, getting dressed in whatever uniform. Just PT started like 5:30. And you downstairs in formation and you just like still sleep.
And how long y'all got time to eat? Like,
yeah. So,
how long?
Like, well, it like in basic and stuff like that, it was like, I don't know, man. It was like, so they didn't really do it on time. It was like, say you got 25 people in your like your platoon.
Right.
When the first person is done eating, or like when the last person is done eating, then everybody is done eating. So like if you're the first person in line, you get in there, you got a little bit of time. If you like right before the last person, then if that mug, and it was always the asshole that, part of my friends, there's always the asshole that wants to be the last person that wants to eat fast as shit. Like they'll come in there and they'll get like breakfast time. They'll get like, you know what I'm saying, 2 eggs. And you sitting there like, bro, like you see all this stuff I got on my plate, bro. I'm starving, bro. And you sit there with 2 eggs and you crack them joints and, all right, I'm done, Drill Sergeant. And it's like, motherfucker.
And you the only one
left. And you sitting there like, bro, I literally take one bite of my food and now you got to take your the tray up and you back out there hungry now.
Man, that's
going
crazy.
Out here working in the field and doing stuff.
So that's why they like on the major pain move.
Oh man, that's why you eat fast. You learn to eat fast. That's another thing. You joke, but the shit like I eat fast as shit. Like I'm free. Like my old lady will make dinner and then like I get my plate and like her and the kids, they'll sit down and eat. And I'm walking back to the trash can with and the kids are looking like, you ate already? I'll be like,
so you have a big plate.
I mean, yeah.
Average plate?
Not these days. I'm trying to slim down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I have a decent
plate.
More than what a kid.
More than a kid, and it'd be like that.
And I'm like, I'm in and out. Like, but
in and out.
Yeah, like I said though, it just goes back to like my appreciation of the time. I get that out the way so I can have time to focus on the other things that I like to do in the evening. Right. You at work all day, you want to just relax and feel like eating is just something you have to do, but now I necessarily don't want to eat right now. I just go ahead and get out the way.
Right. So man, North Augusta, man. So how is the music scene far as North Augusta? Far as like how is I mean out here I've heard of maybe a few artists from that way, but not like a lot of noise like it should be having. I mean, North Augusta ain't that big for one, but still there's still some musicians there that come to Augusta. So like, what is the music scene in that area like?
I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. It's not as glamorized or it's not as popularized as other areas, but you know what I'm saying, that's just work that you know, so myself and the other artists over there are doing to try to bring that attention to it. You know what I'm saying? It's like Dre said, you know what I'm saying, North Augusta got something to say. You know what I'm saying? So we out here trying to make a name for ourselves and just stake our claim in the game. And it's a lot of artists over there, man. You talking about singers, you talking about, you know what I'm saying, rappers, songwriters, producers, videographers. Like, it's a host of talent that comes from there. And I'm aware of it because I grew up with a lot of these people.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying, we do what we can to support each other. But, you know what I'm saying, at the same time, it's just like, we're just waiting. It's like, and I'd say, you know, I'll try to be that person to try to open the door to shine the light back on everybody else is there. Like, that's what we all out here working for, because it's like somebody's got to be the one to put us on the map. Right. And then from there, it's like open season for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I say the music scene is. But we all think that same way. Like, nobody over there is selfish about it. Like, we share information, we learn a trick or a secret of the game, and we go back and we share that with each other to try to lift each other and build each other up. And so I love and appreciate that vibe, and so that's why I do my music for where I'm from with such pride. Right. Because of the fact that I'm proud of North Augusta, I'm proud of the people, the artistry, just the vibe of it. You know what I'm saying? It's not a crab in a bucket mentality like you have in a lot of places. Right. It's everybody working together to try to build one thing up. Right, like one place up. You know, we all lifting it up.
Man, that's what's up, man. That's love there, man. That's what's up. Yeah, man. So I most definitely gotta dissect North Augusta and get in there and find everybody, you know, and tap into everybody, man. Most definitely, I'm going to do that. Most definitely going to do that. So, man, got to shout out my boy Yogi.
Oh, big facts.
For setting, you know, for setting it up, man. So, how you and Yogi, like?
We grew up together. Okay. We went to church together in Augusta, Macedonia Baptist Church. 1828 Wrightsboro Road. I can't say it without saying the whole thing. It's so been like that all my life, man.
That was the saying.
Because it was like the little advertisement joint, and it was just like, I don't know, it just stuck with me.
So all y'all was saying it together, like stomp the yard type thing.
Nah. But no, that was just the thing. I don't know. It's weird. But like, I could never say the name without saying the address. Right. Yeah. But no, we grew up in church, man. I've known him since I was 3 years old. And well, since we were 3, we're the same age. So we was 3, man. We grew up together. Me, him, my boy Vince, like my boy Tyrone, my cousin Brandon. You know what I'm saying? And just all of us. My boy D from Atlanta.
And all y'all just tied. All y'all connected in music somehow, some way. Y'all connected.
We just connected. Period. Yeah. Like, it was like a brotherhood that we developed, man, and it's still strong to this day.
Man, that's love, man.
Yeah, and that's a rarity too, man. It's childhood friends, man. You grow up, life just kind of takes you different places, and you just kind of lose that. But for
let's tap into that. Cool. Let's tap into that. Okay, childhood friends. So it's like good topic for one, because you know, like you said, people grow apart because why you think people grow apart for one?
I mean, just as you grow and develop as a person, like you get a certain set of ideals or things that interest you, and when you're a child, like everything interests you, so it's easy to get along with a lot of people because y'all all like everything, you know what I'm saying? But as you get older and you develop and mold and become the individual person, you know, that starts to narrow down, and you start to really define like the type of person, and then you just start, when you're around those people, you just realize like, oh, well, you know what I'm saying, we kind of got different views, or you know, we look at things differently.
He fart in his sleep. So, So like,
it's just like, it just certain things about that person that no longer really interest you, or you know, you just don't find, I guess, I mean, it sounds bad saying it, but you don't find the benefit in that relationship, and so it just starts to go a separate way. And not saying it's a bad thing, it's just people grow and they change.
Because that's totally true, man. Because you have some people there's a lot of people that I had to ask a friend, because you know if you grew up popular just by doing music since I was 9 growing up, I've always been popular. So it's like, but the friend count could be real high, but like you said, you know, once you start, the older you get, and you start filtering out those ones, and you start realizing like, okay, this person is stingy, this person is selfish, this person is an asshole, this person is, then next thing you know, you got 2 best friends left.
Facts. Like the number, like life has a way of like doing it, like and doing it down by itself.
That's crazy, bro. It's like you just sit back, and I was like, cause if you just sit back and think about all the friends that you actually call friends at a point in your life, and look at him now, you like, damn, there's been a lot of friends got subtracted out of my life.
Facts.
And I only got I could probably count one hand how many true friends that I said I had since school. Since childhood, like one hand, bro. Like I could truly say I know this person like the back of my hand.
Facts.
I trust them with my life.
Like those people
will never screw me over.
Like people that you say graduated from friends to like family. Like,
right.
Those are like those people that I would say that I counted at one hand are like brothers to me. You know what I'm saying? And I have a lot of friends still. Yeah. But those people are graduated.
Like you got your friends. Like you got people like. Friends like, oh, hey, so you see somebody, that's how you see them in public. Hey, what's up, boy? How the family? Good. Then you got you got your close brothers.
That's
like,
people that I'll trust coming to the house.
Yeah, they with
you know
me.
where I live. Like
your kids calling them uncle and auntie. Y'all not even related.
Facts. Facts. Oh, why would black people do that? That's crazy to me,
bro. I don't know why black people do that. Black people are the only race I know that have 20 sisters. But on paper, there's only one daughter in the family.
Right.
It's like, but everybody's a sister, everybody's a brother. You know, I guess because I think when something's missing out of a home, I think a lot of us tend to stretch for that one part that we feel is missing. Like if you're a only daughter in a family with a group of boys, you stretch for that female attention and things like that. So same thing, it was a guy with a bunch of girls, he the only little boy. So I just think you know, that's just my
that made it make sense because that's how I was. Like I got an older sister and that's it. So like these people that I call my brothers, they're the brothers that I didn't have growing up. Right. Yeah, or friends that turned into that I grew up with because of the fact that I didn't have that.
Right. So, and the thing about friendship has a good side, but the bad side be the worst. It be the most worst because it be the closest ones or your bestest friends, the one that screw you over in the end. And you know, and that it never fails. Yeah, never fails.
It's always that. It's always gonna be that one.
It's always be that one, man. Yeah. But I feel like as adults, if we, you know, I feel like if you really brothers, because we gonna fight, family argue, family gonna have disagreements and stuff. But you know, I feel like if you talk it out, things get, you know, get straight.
Yeah.
You know,
but being honest, man, I think that people struggle with honesty. Like. It's an easy concept, but it's a hard thing to practice. Like and that's another thing that I don't really get. It's like you stay in the game so much more by just being honest and being transparent with each other. Like I don't want a friend that's not gonna tell me like set me straight, or like if I come to them like, yo, you know what I'm saying, we had an argument, this and the third, bro, you was wrong in that situation. What? Like I want that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like because how do you expect to get better if you operating in a false sense of reality?
Because when people do that, because you know, people like the thing about the world. You know, they say, you know, men lie, women lie. I say everybody lies. Yeah, whether it's a small lie, big lie, lie's a lie. You know, you don't want to go to work, so you make a fake lie. Hey, I'm sick. Ain't nothing wrong with you. You just want to stay home, go to the game. So, you know, a lie's a lie. You know, even if you want to surprise somebody like a surprise birthday party, where you going? I'm gonna go to the store. You know,
right?
The whole time you got a whole surprise party back there. A lie's a lie. It's a good lie, or it's a lie's a lie. But it's a lie's a lie. But I just feel like people they can't handle, like you said, they can't handle the truth, and they want to be surrounded by a lot of people that tell them yay, and you know, yay, that's a good idea. What you say, I know you met some people, like, no matter what you say, they have a story to match it.
Oh man, the one-uppers. One-uppers. The people got a one-up your story, yeah.
Those are the ones I don't like those types, because those are the ones you can't trust them. They try to fit in too much. And so that means that they're willing to tell your business to the next person. Because if you're that willing to open yourself, because sometimes it's not good to open yourself up to everybody. Like if you go in the room, it's not good to come in there and speak to everybody. Sometimes you gotta sit back and observe the room first. You know, some people come in, hey,
what's going on, everybody?
You know, a serial killer hand, and so you
facts.
Like, facts, man. Like, that's facts, man. But you know, But yeah, man, I just feel like people change over time. Like you said, ideas, inputs, and then, you know, a lot of people get sour because, you know, they want people to tell them yay and nay, even when their ideas are terrible. Because if you following friends, sometimes following the wrong friends lead you down the wrong path.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I know you've seen that a lot. Yeah. Seen that a lot. Seen it a lot. And it's easily influenced, man. It's like, you would think the dope dealer, dope dealer never go away. Do you think the dope dealer ever go away? It'll never go away.
No.
Dope dealer been popular since the 60s.
Probably before that.
Probably before then.
Yeah.
Before then. But just that, like, because, you know, we grew up idolizing the dope boys because they had the money, they had the cars, they had the fame, you know, the popularity, stuff like that. You still think they still idolize now to this day?
Oh yeah, it's prevalent. And well, I mean, I'll say to a degree.
To a degree, right.
It's funny because you hear people say now, it's like they don't idolize the dope dealer, they idolize the fiend. The fiend.
Right.
Yeah, like the music is
yeah.
about, you know, how many pills you could take and, you know what I'm saying?
I never get that, bro. I never understood that, bro. It's like we went from selling dope to being on it.
I mean, you know, it's one of those things, like if you ever sold a drug, like you can't say that you sell a drug that you never tried.
Right.
You know, so I don't know anybody that's ever sold weed that doesn't smoke weed or hasn't smoked weed at some point in their life. I don't know people that have sold cocaine that have not at some point tried cocaine.
Tried at least.
You got to make sure that you got to test the quality of the product you're selling so you can feel comfortable standing behind it. You know what I'm saying? Just like any drug.
Any drug, fact.
So yeah, no, I don't. I mean, I see how it happened. You know, you just got a little too happy with getting high on your own supply. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you turn from the drug, like, you know what, I'm gonna get this stuff. I'm gonna sell it. Yeah. And then eventually you're just like, you know, so I'm not really worried about selling. I'm just gonna use this shit.
And tapping into that, because a lot of people, you know, this type of question, this question right here kind of get the audience separated, because when it comes to like parental advisory, when it comes to music, you know, because some people be like, well, you need to be better parents to your kids. You know, keep them away from this type of music. But you can't keep kids from type of music like that. You got it's on TikTok.
It's on everything.
It's on every platform. It's on everything that a kid get on. It's on
your face. Yeah.
So it's like, and then if their popular song is talking about popping Xannies and popping so many pills until they unconscious and rapping it to a catchy beat. Now you got. I record. I know y'all record artists. I know there's plenty of young artists. You come in there, they got to be no more than 18, talking about popping pills to numb the pain. To numb the pain. What do you know about numbing the pain at fucking 16?
Right.
I mean, you can know it,
bro. You therapy. Like, there's better ways to resolve and work on that, fix that issue. Like. That ain't it, bro.
That ain't it. And
like you literally killing yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're gonna kill the pain out and everything else with it.
But and it's just like, it's so big. They styles and raps be so out of content now, because it's like they, you know, it's more like you said. It's no more lyrical content to them. It's more of just randomness, party shit. It be shit like, you might hear a line. It might say something like, you know, shawty knows she's working, that ass is fat, I'ma hit it from the back, then I'm on a Zanny, I'ma pop out and doze off until I'm in a trap. Like, how you lit, then you overdose, then you wake back up.
You saying the emotions in it just go, like, they're all over the place. Yeah. But I mean, you think at that age, you know what I'm saying? Even if I think back to when I was that age, like, emotionally, I was all over the place too.
Right.
But like, how I express it was probably different.
It was different.
And I think now that everybody you have this digital world that we live in and these platforms, like, they're able to put that out there, whereas we were kids, like, we didn't have no phones and nothing like that. Right. So there was no way for us
to outlook that.
Like, I mean, it's just it's an expression. I get it, you know, because when you're that young, the older you get, the more control you have of your emotions. When you're younger, like, you could be happy one second and you pissed off the next second, and you know what I'm saying, and just because it's something small happens and it just your whole demeanor changes, and you know what I'm saying. So I get it, but it's just like, it's dangerous, like you were saying, because of the fact that you can publicize that more people see it, and so now it's not looked at like, oh well, I'm not the only person that feels that way because he's talking about it, he feels that way too. It's dangerous because of the fact that how you're promoting handling it.
Right.
That's not getting across.
Right.
And so you have these kids out here, like you said, I'm popping the Xan and doing this, I'm stressed out, you know what I'm saying, da-da-da-da. But then I'm about to go to the party and I'm getting hyped, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I feel that exact same way.
Yeah.
But that's not how you handle it. Like, that's not how you fix that. That's not the solution to go out here and now you're not just on a pill, but you're at a party and you're drinking now. So now you've added another drug to the system, and you think that this is going to help you deal with your problems. Like, it's not.
And then my thing, and you're not going to be able to keep all this stuff away from kids. I don't give a damn what school you put them in, whatever, because you get around other kids and they be around other kids, influence other kids, or they put that in other kids' head. Whether, you know, kids might not do it, but they be surrounded by that till they be aware of it. So it's like, I think as parents, like, you got kids, I think the best way, you know, to try, you know, teach your kids about the stuff. Yeah. Let them know about it.
Let them learn at the house.
Yeah, because they watching TV, movies, anything. I'd rather me teach them than them learning it from something else and not know
because you have a full understanding of it, whereas their friends, which we all know at that age, your friends are probably your strongest influence.
Heck yeah. So, what we said, your brother, you got 100 friends back then.
Facts. But it's just like, yeah, I mean, and that's the thing as parents, what we got to focus on is like let us be the ones that expose our kids to these things so we can kind of direct that narrative so that we can kind of let them see it from a reality's perspective versus you know what I'm saying, like, yeah, this is weed. Like, weed is a drug. Yeah. These are the effects of weed. Right. This is what it can do to you. You know what I'm saying? Is it cool to do? You know, a lot of things in life are cool to do in moderation. I'm not telling you to do it. I know that there's going to come a point in your life where you're going to do it. Right. But if you do, try to do it in these circumstances. Yeah, be in a controlled environment. Don't be out in public. You know what I'm saying? Because then you risk running into police and, you know, public intoxication or whatever, DUIs or whatever.
That's a whole
and so it's just like, but it's you gotta put the whole message out there. Your friends are just gonna say, this is weed. Weed is cool. I feel good on weed. Let's do weed. And you're anywhere. You're at the mall, you know what I'm saying, and you outside in the car smoking and you walking around inside and you smell like a whole pound. And then you walk by a police officer and he's like, come here. You're like, you know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, he's searching the vehicle. Your car. And then next thing you know, and this is your parents' vehicle, and then now your parents are hearing about it because, you calling them saying, I got locked up because we was out at the mall smoking weed and stuff like that. Right. If you just took the extra time to really put them on game about the entirety of the situation, you know what I'm saying, and the possible ramifications, then, you know what I'm saying, you could have avoided that situation. Like, be honest and be upfront with your kids. Like, talk to them, like, put them on game of life. Like, you don't have this knowledge up here to hold it to yourself. You have that knowledge to share it. Right. You know what I'm saying?
And I say it's best to catch them when they real young. Yeah, beat it in their head, they sponge stage. Because parents be trying to parent them when they a little older, where they done got enough soaked in a little bit of knowledge of what they think they know more than the parent. Know more than the parent. So, you know how that is. So, man, before we slide off on NewbieVeT, man, how can they get in contact with you, and is there any love you want to shout out?
Shout out the whole Northside, you know, first and foremost, man. All my family, fans, supporters, love all y'all. You can reach me on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram. Instagram is at Instagram.com, North_side_will. Same thing on Twitter. I'm on SoundCloud. I'm on TikTok, everywhere. Northside Will.